Welcome to Mission Spooky. I'm your beautiful host, JC. With me is my co-host Kiki, and we have a guest. Not here because we're still practicing social distancing, but we have a guest today. His name is Cord, and he's beautiful, almost as beautiful as me.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Cord. How are you both doing today?
I'll let our guest go first.
I'm sleepy. I just woke up an hour ago.
Nice.
I actually woke up like 2 hours ago because I had a migraine that lasted for 3 days. So yeah, I'm right there with you, buddy.
I woke up 11 hours or 12 hours ago because I had an essential job to do today.
God, here we go.
I'm a very important person with an essential job.
God.
Yeah.
So Cord, are you off work too?
No.
Oh.
I just have a normal person job, so I don't work on the weekends.
Oh. Lucky you. Well, good. How's quarantine treating you?
It's very boring. There's not a lot to do in my house, and I spend most of my time not in my house, so it's extremely boring.
I'm living the dream. Yeah, to be a hero by just sitting on my ass and doing nothing. Well, but not doing nothing, because I did some really fantastic things in the last week or so.
Define fantastic.
I got to sit in on, I think I already mentioned this in the other, maybe not, no. James Gunn and his brother Sean did a movie watch for Guardians of the Galaxy, where we got to ask him questions on Twitter. And also asked Sean questions too, and there was a few other people from the movie that were involved, so that was very cool. Very nice that he did that for us. Then a couple nights ago was Taika Waititi did a Thor Ragnarok watch on Instagram. He told us that he would have a couple of people invited in. We didn't know who it was going to be, and it turned out one of them was Tessa Thompson, who plays Valkyrie.
She's wonderful.
Oh my God, she's
Nice.
so great. And then he really surprised us. The second one was Mark Ruffalo.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was really sweet. And I have a picture of the two of them, Mark and Taika, trying to do like Taika's the head, like the eyes, and Mark is like the mouth on the bottom. They spliced their faces together on Instagram. Yeah, that was great. He's so funny, Taika.
He's hilarious.
He was showing us pictures of like Meek, right?
Mm-hmm.
For the next movie. And he's
Meek's gonna
nonchalant.
be in the next. I'm so excited to hear that.
But hold on. Right? He's just like, oh yeah, you know what? I do have a spoiler I can show you guys. Here's some pictures of Meek with his new suit, like his space suit. And then he had another one where he's dressed up in the spacesuit, but he's a woman, it's a woman. And he's like, oh, most people don't know this, but Meek is actually a woman. Yeah.
That makes
That's a
sense because
lady.
Meek was laying eggs.
Right?
Like he asked. That makes sense.
Here's the best part though. He nonchalantly like slides the pictures over, and underneath of it, it's a script. And it says, Thor 4. And you can clearly read it. And it's as if it's a conversation with Thor and Tony Stark.
What?
In which Thor's like, I thought you were dead. And Tony's like, nope, I'm alive. He's like, but I saw you die. And he's like, no, man, science. And it goes on and on. And it's like, oh, so are we assembling again? And then he's like, yeah, we got the Avengers back together. Everybody's back from the dead. Nobody died. And then Thor's like, well, wait a minute. Like, why should we be called? Are we really the Avengers? Because didn't we already like do the avenging? And Tony's like, yeah, okay, but so we're like the Avengers. And then he let it out there long enough for people to screenshot it, right? Which of course I did. And then he covered it back. Oh, you guys aren't supposed to see that, you know?
Wow.
Yeah, so that was a blast. And then tomorrow night, this will be well after. Will go live well after, but I'm gonna assume that it's gonna be a great concert. Twin Tower is gonna be on YouTube giving a live concert as well for Easter Sunday.
Nice. Oh yeah, tomorrow's Easter. I keep forgetting.
Yeah. Whatever. You mean Ostara?
Oh god, you and your fucking witchcraft.
Oh man. Cord, what's your feelings on witch?
On witchcraft?
Yeah.
I like to consider myself a healthy skeptic on it.
All right, you're off the podcast now.
But yeah, Cord, you have a healthy scoop of skepticism. Oh my fucking god, I am full-blown mentally disordered today.
Oh my god.
That's like the fourth word.
I know, right? I'm not usually this bad. Am
It's
I?
like, no, yo, it's like that day when you said that you wanted to go to voyeur, and I was like, you mean the voyeur? And he's like, the voyeur. And I'm like, what is that? Like someplace that somebody goes to look at other people? The voyeur.
I don't remember that.
Oh, that hurts.
Yeah, it's
But I
even.
believe it happened.
Yeah, it's even in the intro to our commercial now. Yeah, because I like embarrassing the shit out of you, man. Great. Well, you're there for comedic relief, so
there it is.
there it is.
They're supposed to laugh with me, not at me.
I'm just gonna go out on a limb, JC, and say I don't think I've ever laughed with you. We've been friends for many years. I think every time I've been laughing directly at you.
I love how we have guests on that are supposed to be your friends. And this is great. I love it.
Yeah. I don't cry myself to sleep every night.
We're not. His friends are not bullies. He just literally asks every day.
Yeah. No, I know. It's easy. It's real easy.
Yeah.
Okay, guys. We're going to break for our sponsor. And when we get back, more interviewing Cord. So, welcome back, guys.
Oh yeah, good to be back. Oh,
I'm here.
Yep.
such enthusiasm.
I think quarantine is just getting to all of us slightly.
It's making me a more positive person. This is where I do my best. Oh, I can't leave home? Oh no. How terrible. Easter plans with the family canceled? Oh no. Oh, what a terrible thing. Oh no.
I kind of feel bad not doing Easter eggs, though, with the kid.
You can just hide Easter eggs in your backyard. It's not like there's a COVID monster that's gonna punch him in the face.
No,
I mean, like, yeah, thanks, JC. Listen, I mean, like, decorating them, because my nieces and nephew usually come over and do that with him, so that's kind of a bummer. But no, we have, like, plastic Easter eggs. I think we're just gonna do that, or
Do you
we
guys
might just
put
wait.
candy in them? Or like money? Or both?
Well, first of all, traditionally, we do regular Easter egg hunt with real eggs that we've decorated.
Okay.
And we'll hide them right before the other kids come over. And then they enjoy just going around trying to find them. Then if it's nice outside, we have this thing where we buy little presents. So things that are under $5, we wrap them and color code them for all the kids. So the idea is that they have to go find their present. And it'll be outside in the yard if it's nice out. If it's, raining, then we do it inside. And there's no helping, so you might find your sister's present or your brother's present, but you can't say anything.
I wouldn't say anything. I would just take it.
Well, no, they can't. It's going to be obvious. They can't just take it.
No one's gonna stop me.
You're terrible.
I had a much different philosophy growing up with Easter egg hunting. It was not as friendly.
Yeah.
It was whoever got the most eggs won. And you won by any means necessary. I never won, by the way.
God. Figures.
And then for the adults, I would go out and buy a couple of 6-packs of craft beer, and I would hide them inside the house.
Now, craft beer, does that have like glitter and like cardstock inside, or what?
God.
I'm so proud of myself.
That might be the worst joke I've ever heard you say.
I'm so glad that someone else is here making the same noises that I make whenever he tells a joke.
Witnessing, confirming that it's real.
Yeah.
It's okay, because it's all just fuel. You know how like there's the psychic vampires? I'm like that, but off of disappointing jokes.
Yeah, you're like a comedy vampire. You suck all the funny out of the room.
Yes.
Yes. All right.
You can put all of that right in the before the.
I don't even do whatever the fuck I want since I'm the producer.
I said can.
I can, yeah, but it's implied that you're like, I think you should.
And I just said can.
You just spend the whole interview talking about Easter. That's fine. We'll talk about
right?
Easter. We'll get to the spooky stuff later. It's Easter time now.
Easter is spooky. It's zombie Jesus.
I will say my favorite Easter, my parents hid the eggs and they were drunk and they forgot where they hid them all. And they were just like plastic eggs with stuff inside. We were teenagers at this point. They forgot where they hid all the eggs. So we were still finding eggs in like July and August. And we're pretty sure like the next Easter, we found eggs that were hidden from the Easter before because they're like, we weren't drunk last night and we know we didn't hide one there.
All right, now shut up, JC. You be quiet over there now. All right, so Cord, I'd asked the same question of JC when we first started this, which was the very simple, like, what was the thing that got you into the paranormal?
I assume that would be a pretty easy question for me because I've been experiencing paranormal things for the entirety of my life. My first memory that I can think back and remember is being a 4 or 5-year-old in sleep paralysis. It's something that's always just been around me my whole life.
So you see sleep paralysis as more of a supernatural versus just the physical part of it, or are you having something where it's like both?
I think it's a combination of both. I've done a bit of reading on it, and a lot of people say that it is stress like manifesting in a really vivid nightmare, which I have experienced sleep paralysis come on from stress, but at the same time, I've had very intense sleep paralysis in some of the happiest times of my life when I'm really stress free. So I think it's kind of a combination of both.
I was telling JC when we talked just briefly about this in a few episodes ago that I have sleep paralysis issues, but I take the route of I know it's happening. And so I've learned how to control it because I realize I'm actually still technically asleep. It's like my body's in sleep mode, but my brain has switched on too early. But what I think is interesting is that even though I personally don't believe in demons per se, and even though I know for sure that what's happening to me is scientifically proven, right? Explainable, I guess, is more the better word. Demon concept will show up when I'm in sleep paralysis. It's the weirdest thing.
I feel some of that might be I guess they call it the archetypal enemy concept or whatever it's called.
Yes.
I've never gone out and seen a demon per se, and I have seen some rather frightening things for sure.
Ooh, okay. So tell us frightening things that you've seen.
Well, I guess it'd be easy to start at the first one because it did freak me out a lot. When I was 5, and I knew very little about aliens when I was 5, I didn't look into UFOs at that age. I don't think anybody does. But
right.
legitimately, my first memory that I had was waking up in sleep paralysis and my head was facing the window. And we had a huge backyard. We had like a 4-acre yard. And I saw the bright lights and everything, and a UFO craft land in my yard. And creatures came out and were talking to each other and pointing in the house. very, very young. That was my first memory that I have.
Wow.
And that was, I don't even know if I had a concept of what aliens really were when I was that young. So
Hmm.
it was a rather spooky thing. Another thing that might fall into the archetypal enemy situation, maybe a collective unconscious going on there.
Right, like some just the unknown.
Yeah.
The first time was like a UFO type
Yes.
deal. Have you seen the men in hats with the red eyes?
I've not seen any hat men. I see shadow people constantly, but I've never seen the proverbial hat man, or I guess they would call him the man in charge. A lot of people have seen him. I have not personally, no, but I've seen a lot of different types of shadow people and shadow entities.
Tell us about that because I, as JC and I were talking about last time, he's seen shadow people and I have never experienced that at all.
So there are many times in my life where I felt that I wanted to pull out a pad of paper and sketch what I seen, but it comes along the same lines of I won't start a dream diary for the same reason of I don't want it to become like concrete real, like in the reality. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Mhm.
But I've seen a whole bunch of different ones, like different sizes and shapes and opacities. Like some you can see straight through, others it's like a black void. Some are non-humanoid. Most are at least vaguely humanoid. I could go on for days. I've
No,
I've seen a
that's
lot.
interesting though that you have seen the different levels of a shadow person as well.
Two of them that are burned into my memory. They used to show up together. One of them was very small, like almost, I wouldn't even say they were 5 feet, and they were very rounded except the head. It was almost shaped like a sunflower seed standing on the wide end.
Huh.
It was almond shaped with the pointed end being upwards, kind of. And it always came with another one that was unreasonably tall at the shoulders. It had to crane its neck to fit into the room from floor to ceiling. And it looked very similar, but was a lot more wavy, I guess I would say. It had like this strange wavy texture to it. But they showed up a couple times, and they also like to speak in tongues to me when I was experiencing them. They were very unsettling.
Yeah, right. This is why I don't ever want to see a shadow person. I'm not interested. No, don't want to see it.
Yeah, they're spooky.
Like the speaking in tongues thing, is that just the only way you can describe it, or do you think it was seriously like just a different language altogether?
It's hard to describe because it didn't sound like a language that I know personally, but I only know one, so it's strange. I've had the talking in tongues is what I call it multiple times, and sometimes it even switches over into language, understandable or not. But a lot of times it sounds just like whispering, mumbling of just nothing. It's hard to place if it would be something that would even be comprehensible to me.
Yeah, I had the same, similar experience with the story I told a few episodes back. It would like stand behind me and talk. Now I was awake; it had nothing to do with being asleep. But where you don't like, it's there and it's making noise, but you don't know what. It's nothing that's even remotely human.
I think I have an easy way of describing this. It would come in the form of a story. One of the first times I had sleep paralysis in my adult life, it was before I even knew what sleep paralysis really was. I was in my room and we have this futon. Most of my friends call it the haunted futon because every time somebody takes a nap on it, they have a horrible nightmare. I do enjoy sleeping on this futon for whatever reason. This was, I don't know, probably close to 10 years ago now. Fell asleep on this futon and I woke up in sleep paralysis. Did not know what sleep paralysis was at the time, so I was just kind of having a panic attack because I couldn't move anything. And at first, nothing strange was happening, and then I started hearing what sounded like whispering. I lived in an attic that was kind of split in half. Part of it was TV, computer, the other half was where I had my bed and everything, and from the bedside of my room I could hear whisper and it was just loud enough that I could hear it was too quiet to really digest, if you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And then I started hearing it from a different corner of my room into 8 different directions where this voice was coming. And then the voices started getting a bit louder as if whatever was whispering was coming closer. As this whispering was getting louder, I noticed that I couldn't understand it even when it became a digestible level of volume. It was just mumbling and whispering. And then as I saw the massive shadow people come over my futon because I was staring straight up, I felt all the hair go up on the back of my neck and I felt like I was being electrocuted. I fell through my futon almost as if I got sucked through it. And then that part really freaked me out, obviously, because nobody wants to see weird shadow people in their room casting spells on them or whatever. After that, I started having a dream / sleep paralysis where it was kind of like how you would have a TV show where someone keeps waking up and there's something different and then they're just like shaken awake again in their bed and something else is different. This was happening in my dream and they were different little stints of sleep paralysis.
Uh-huh.
I would wake up and my phone was on the table, then my phone was ringing, and I started trying my damnedest to reach for my phone. And then all of a sudden I'm waking up again and my phone is on my chest and it starts ringing again. A couple more cycles of similar things to that. And then up out of sleep paralysis. I was like, yeah, I'm not sleeping for the next couple days.
I think it's interesting though, the voices and always hearing a whispering. In general, after listening to thousands of people tell stories of either ghost shadow people, it's this reoccurring thing where you can hear someone saying something, but you can't quite make it out, and it becomes super frustrating. This used to happen to my mom in my grandmother's house, which I definitely know was haunted because I experienced stuff there all the time.
Was this the grandmother that did seances or?
Yep.
Yep, okay.
Oh, that sounds fun.
Uh-huh.
Loads of fun.
Yeah, so much fun. Her bedroom was towards the back of the house, and there was a nice sized closet in there. And her bed would be across the room from the closet, trying to go to sleep at night. And she would start hearing those voices like they were in the closet. And it was like 2 people having a conversation, and you just couldn't quite hear what they were saying. And there were times when she was like, just speak up. I feel like I'm on the cusp of understanding the conversation, and I just can't quite hear them. And it didn't freak her out as much in this instance as it was just annoying because she wanted to know what the hell they were saying. And this was happening to her when she was a teenager. So I think that's hysterical though. That's like, just speak up a little bit. I want to know what the hell's going on. Why are you here? What are you talking about?
I'd rather them just not. If they could actually tune it down a bit, I'd appreciate that more.
Did you, because I just want to clarify for myself too, did you work with JC in paranormal investigations?
No.
Okay.
No.
I was more of a amateur spooky hunter.
He was my
Very
definition
amateur.
of ghost hunter.
Yeah,
He went for the experience.
Yeah. I didn't go to prove anything. I went there to be scared.
How about we go for cool? Like, did you have a really cool, positive experience as a ghost hunter?
Has Cord ever had a positive experience?
That's a great question.
Like, not even just paranormal, just any positive experience.
Well, that's a little harsh.
Anytime he spends with me.
Positive experience ghost hunting. I can't say that I had a positive one. Cool is a strange word. I wouldn't exactly say cool by any means.
Okay.
I had a little group that went. I was one of the people that didn't need to go that often because I would sit at home and stuff would happen to me. So everybody else wanted to get the adrenaline rush, and I was already in it. So no, I would say I didn't necessarily have any quote unquote cool experiences. They were usually very negative,
That's unfortunate.
extremely oppressive. We went to places that were specifically like, bad stuff happens here.
We talk about that all the time, just in this podcast in general, that the worst cases are always where something horrible has happened because I feel like that energy is left behind. I mean, unfortunately, that's what it is. If you're part of a massacre of like 36 people, then that's nasty juju behind.
Would you consider being the person that massacres being part of the massacre?
Yes.
Okay, then I've been a part of massacre.
Oh boy. Okay, so that's an interesting question though. If what we were just talking about, Wildwood Cemetery, as far as I could tell, only the colonials are the ones that died. The Iroquois didn't lose anybody because they were going against colonials who had no weapons, and they had all the weapons. So, so the Iroquois aren't dying there. They're dying elsewhere and getting to live their lives, and possibly, who knows, with the whole genocide thing. We don't know. They could have died horribly too, just not somewhere else. But I feel like if there's like a murder suicide, if there's a massacre in which the other people are also getting killed, like if there were Iroquois who died there, you have both of those energies, the sadness and fear, along with like anger, especially in that particular massacre. The Iroquois were super pissed off, and I'm not saying that what they did was right, but they certainly had a right to be angry.
So what you're saying is you agree with the massacre. I get it.
He does this to me all the time.
What were your feeling on Hitler's death camps?
Oh boy.
Would you approve of those, or just for the record?
Let's not get into that because I'll be able to talk about that for episodes and episodes too.
Wow.
Let's not get into that.
Goes right into the death camps.
Of course I do.
You got a World War II buff in here. You don't want to get on that subject.
Me too. Only I'm more of the World War II aircraft. I love my aircraft. Yeah, for the record, for our Jewish friends who might be listening, no, I absolutely did not agree with that at all.
It's a good move putting that on the table.
Freaking horrifying. And if you want to be depressed for hours, just go to Netflix and watch any of those shows about what happened in the Holocaust.
I tell you what, getting on that subject, I watched Schindler's List for the first time like a year ago. That is a movie.
You're like, that's a movie.
Yeah. That was a heavy one.
I still haven't watched it. I have not watched it because I can't do it.
I will say it's probably the most powerful movie.
Yeah, I'm already a history buff anyway, and just reading the horrific things that happened, I don't need to watch a movie about it. Anyway.
Yeah, anyway.
Anyway, you heard it here first, folks. World War II and killing of the Jews.
Not good. Not good.
Totally not cool.
Not cool in any way, shape, or form. And I definitely feel things around me, and I have no desire to visit any of the places. Like, I know people go to Auschwitz, and part of me is like, yeah, it's interesting as far as this should never happen again, ever, right?
Yeah.
But I don't want to be there because I'm gonna feel that, and I feel it just watching the damn shows about it or the documentaries about it. Yeah, it's enough. Let's not do that
I'm
again.
going to take that and turn it into a question for Cord. Cord, how are you to your surroundings on like a paranormal spooky sense if you walk into a building?
I still get the funny feeling constantly, but I don't go out of my way to pursue it much anymore.
That's fair.
Yeah, I think the last time that I really felt it strong was when me and you went to that graveyard.
That graveyard.
Yeah, that was fun. It's a fun time. But I think a lot of that came out because I did a lot of energy work. I went to school for massage therapy, and we did a lot of like the doing therapy on people without actually touching them and stuff like that.
Is that Reiki?
Yes, I guess. I didn't get like specifically trained to do that, but we dabbled in it as part of the class, and a lot of people had some extremely emotional responses to it. Like leaving the room crying after like essentially nothing happened.
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of like weird energy going through that room, and I think that kind of like helped me at least figure out the headspace I needed to be in if I wanted to register what was going on. So if I like sit down and concentrate, I probably could, but a lot of times I don't worry about it anymore because of bad experience.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I feel you on that.
Yeah. When I lived in my parents' house, most of the time that I spent in the house was just feeling that weird, like cold feeling coming from my room. So I tend to just like not worry about it anymore.
Your parents' house and some of the stories that you've told, like, that is one of the most frightening places I've ever walked into.
Yeah.
Like, just the energy in there, I never want to be there at night. I think there's only been like maybe a handful of times I was, and I don't think I ever slept there. I don't know how anyone
We
has.
have mutual friends that to this day will not go to my parents' house.
I know. They've told me.
Yeah, they will pull into the driveway, and that's as far as they go.
Yeah. And I'm not like super receptive to it most of the time. Now I'm just like whatever. And for most of the time I've known you, I've just been whatever. And
Yeah.
but I still, when I walk in, I get feelings.
Back when I was an antenna for this stuff, because I would do the chakra color training and stuff to get into the mindset. Back when I was doing all that stuff, it was extremely oppressive to be in that house at night. And it's not even like it's not like anything bad happened to me. It's just stuff visited me all the time there. It just wouldn't
Yeah.
ever stop.
Well, now you got me interested because what is going on at the house? Like, is there anything that you know that happened there, or is this just some weird, random thing?
Nothing that I know that happened there. I know the people that had the house before us were necessarily reputable people, but I don't know of anything like bad happening. It was just weird. Even from the first time I stepped into the house, something was weird about it because I remember when we were buying the house, because we used to live in a trailer, we were upscaling into a house. Me and my girlfriend at the time were sitting in the basement underneath the steps, and I knew everyone else was outside talking with the realtor. And this, like 5 minutes after being in the house for the first time ever, I was hearing boots walking in a circle between the two staircases because there's a staircase to the basement and then a staircase to the attic right on top of it. And I could hear boots, like not walking, like clunking, like heavy boot fall, just walking between the two steps. And I looked at my girlfriend at the time and I was like, "You're hearing that, right?" And she's like, yeah." Like from the first time I stepped in the house, there was something weird about the house. And it was not just me experiencing it. My mother even started having bouts of sleep paralysis, and my brother claimed to me at the time that part of the reason that he left was because he was scared of opening the house.
Oh,
I don't know if he would still consider that now. I remember very specifically he told me one of the reasons he moved out of the house was because he didn't want whatever was there messing with him anymore.
Not to like, finger point, but things got worse after he used a Ouija. Or did I misremember that story?
No, that's pretty accurate. Yeah. Very shortly after moving into the house, we very quickly noticed that some weird stuff was going on at night. I was always a night owl. My brother kept getting woken up by stuff, and I don't mess with Ouija boards. I don't like them. I don't necessarily believe there's anything necessarily paranormal about them. I don't risk it for that biscuit, if you understand my meaning.
yeah, we did a whole episode on exactly that.
Yeah,
Of
I'm not a fan of
One very bad episode.
they can be debunked very easily, but at the same time, I feel like it could be a tool when the right kind of people use it.
Yes.
Therefore, you need to be extremely careful.
Yeah. It is in itself a children's game, but in the right hands it can be a very useful item for conveyance of certain things. But anyway, I don't mess with them. I don't like them even being around me because I don't want to deal with that at all. My parents felt much the same way. My dad's very not into paranormal stuff. My mom she's about into ghosts as much as I am. So they were like, do not under any circumstances bring a Ouija board to this house, because they're also very religious, and that's, not cool for them. And pretty much they told my brother that, and the second they left the house for an extended period of time, him and his now wife and their friends brought over a Ouija board and had a Ouija board party on the porch right next to my room because he wanted to know what was going on. And pretty much what he claims happened was he got in contact with the spirit of some kind of small child, talked about small child things, what their favorite candy was and stuff like that, and then said that there was something buried in the backyard. And our backyard was 1 acre, and about a third of it goes up into the woods. And the next day when it was light out, my brother went out and he found a burial of what he thinks is a dog, but there's no way in hell we're going to dig it up and find out, because it was next to a tree and it was stones laid out in the shape of a big cross, and it was definitely a mound where something was. So he's like, yeah, we're not going to touch that. We're not gonna.
Kiki's like, let me get my tools out.
Yeah, let me get my trowel.
Yeah. me and my brother, we never really talked about it that often, because when we were kids, my brother had a temper problem. But the thing that we did get together and talk about a lot was the stuff that happened to us when it was bedtime. Because even when we were extremely young, we would talk about the shadows we would see walking up and down the way all night and stuff like that. I could tell stories about the stuff that happened in the house for days.
He can. We've spent nights talking about this shit. It's wonderful. I love it. I mean, it's scary as fuck, though.
Both the Ouija board situation and my brother getting messed with were happening at the same time that I was seeing this little girl spirit. I don't remember if we ever figured out a name. I didn't much care to socialize with it. And I was also constantly hearing these boots walking around in the living room and the kitchen, where it would walk in a circle in the middle of the night. It would go from one end of the staircase, because there's the 2 staircases in the middle. It would walk over towards my room, and back in the early 2000s, I was one of the cool kids that had the beads hanging off the doorway, and I would hear them jingle, and it would just keep walking around in a circle, like pretty much the entire night. I could have like a 50-part series on it, being dead serious about it.
He really could. We've probably spent.
Just on the house alone. 50
Really,
part.
yeah. It's.
I mean, he has years of stories.
Cord's house sounds like you've got a hellmouth living like underneath of it. So
Man, you got me wanting to tell stories of the damn house now. You got me on the fucking subject.
The fucking glasses in the sink.
Yeah, the fun stuff.
what?
Oh yeah, that's a story.
Why don't we finish on this? Because this is one of like my favorite fucking stories, and it's not too long.
To preface, the story that I'm about to tell did not happen to me, but this was told to me by my brother and his wife, who both witnessed all of it. I was not in the house for like 50% of the situation. At the time that my brother started getting really freaked out, I was at my friend's house having a sleepover, and my brother and his girlfriend, soon to be wife, moved upstairs. They were in the house by themselves. Mom and dad were both at work. I was gone, and they heard rummaging through the kitchen. They both quieted down because they were listening, like something in the house. And the rummaging turned into glass shattering. When they went downstairs to see what was happening, all of the silverware, because they have the drying rack next to the sink, because we don't have a dishwasher. All the silverware was thrown in the sink. All of the glasses, like the drinking glasses, were thrown in the sink and shattered. Obviously shaken, my brother and his girlfriend cleaned up the mess, and there was no glasses in the house. And they got in the car to go buy a new set of glasses. That was around the time where I was coming home, and I passed them pretty much pulling out of the driveway. Before I even knew what was going on, I took note that they both looked visibly upset about something. I pretty much went straight into my room, started playing games. My brother came home probably about 45 minutes later, and he threw the door of my room open, and he started like just assailing me with questions. Essentially, did you hear anything when we were gone? Were you out in the kitchen fucking with anything? And I'm like, no, what are you talking about? And he told me that most of the glasses were broke. The silverware was thrown in the sink. They cleaned everything up, went out to go get more glasses. And apparently, when I put my headphones on, my headphones were noise canceling. Something in the kitchen did it again when I was there and they left, because they came back and all the silverware was in the sink again. And whatever little glasses were left were then broken in the sink also. And I did not hear a thing, but I also had noise canceling headphones. My brother was very freaked out by that.
So it's not like the drying rack fell into the sink.
No.
These were literally picked up, out, and then thrown in the sink.
According to him, yes.
Wow.
And it was something that it was like, wow, that's crazy, but I didn't even like question it.
That takes a
thing.
lot of energy.
I didn't even need a question.
To do that.
I mean,
Plus, I mean, like, you think about it, if you're trying to think of it logically, even if, like, I've had a drying rack accidentally fall into the sink, but everything sort of stayed in the rack, and, like, one glass got broke,
Right.
because that was the one that was on the end.
right.
Like, that's crazy, you're like, damn.
Yeah.
Court stories are the best.
There's a lot of interesting stories from that.
Okay, so I need the address of this house.
Nah.
We'll do some historical research on this house.
Nah. Again, I don't think anything weird happened. I think the house was built in like the 50s, so it's not super old or anything,
That doesn't mean anything. It might not be the house itself. It might be the ground.
I guess.
That is exactly what happened on 2 different occasions. Actually, one that we talked about, they're having issues in the restaurant, and it's not the actual building that has anything wrong with it. It's that all these people died right there, like right next to where the restaurant was.
Yes.
In an accident. That was very unfortunate.
Wasn't it a train crash?
Yeah, I think it was a trolley, and it went over a bridge, and the bridge gave way and fell into the river, which is right there.
See, Kiki, I do sometimes listen to half of what you say.
Sometimes half.
That's the best you can get.
I'm lucky if it's 50% though, honestly. Closer to 35 most of the time.
Wow.
Yeah, true.
He is my surrogate husband because my husband listens just about 30% of the time. Yeah. Just like today.
True.
I was like, hey, sweetheart, I'm going downstairs to record. Didn't you record already? I'm like, this is a weekly podcast. What don't you understand about this? Whatever, man. He's cool. He's also just going crazy because he's technically essential, but he made a very wise decision to stay home because one of his teammates has COVID-19.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, and found out after the first 2-week quarantine. His teammate showed no signs of having it. Everybody, including him, were called to find out if he had any problems. But no, we're back to haunting again. My grandmother's house was built by my grandfather, so it was technically brand new. Nothing ever happened in the house. However, there was definitely a spirit that was attached to the property. But
Right.
So I'm just wondering, like, the house might be from the 1950s, but you have to be like, what the heck went on here prior to? Like, maybe.
My dad's very not into paranormal stuff whatsoever. Like, whenever I bring stuff up, he kind of just like laughs about it and goes, yeah, whatever. He said when he decided to purchase the house, he went to every corner of the house, and when he was by himself in the house, went, hey, are there any ghosts in here? And nothing responded. So that means that there were no ghosts in the house.
You know what's funny though? I can totally see your dad doing that. Like,
Absolutely. That's why I never called him out on it. I was like, Yeah, you probably did do that, Dad.
Yeah.
Says, hey, is there any ghosts in here? No? Cool. Okay.
Well, we're definitely going to have Cord back to discuss further stories. He has a lot of them. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed these particular stories. So, we're going to take a break for our musical guest, once again hailing from FBI's most dangerous city in Illinois, my good friend Rob Whisenhunt. And the song is called Castles in Ashes, and this is from his 2019 album, The Variable, which is available on Spotify. And when we come back, Spooky Squad news and shout out. All right, welcome back, Spooksters.
Welcome back.
I've got a quick shout out, which is actually about the podcast that we're promoting this week. That would go good with vodka. I suggest Lavinia Fisher episode and also the Ketty Cabin murders. Those are my favorites so far, but you should listen to all of them. And if you want to join the squad, head on over to patreon.com/missionspooky. We have changed our Patreon tier. So now, for $1 buck, you get the shout out on the cast, and you also have access to the blooper reels. And we have a new $5 level, and that's going to give you access to our brand new movie reviews, which we're going to start going live with in June of 2020. So if you don't want to sign up for that until June, that's fine. It's already ready to go. In May, though, we're going to be telling you which movie that we're going to review first so that you guys can watch it in advance, because these are not going to be spoiler-free reviews. These are like, we kind of want you to go watch the film, and then we're going to tell you all about it.
Yeah, because I can't contain myself.
No, he can't. Literally, he can't. He's terrible.
We tried doing spoiler-free. Doesn't work.
No, he's all like, everybody dies.
Yeah, from like cancer. I don't know. It was crazy.
You can send us your PA New Jersey-based ghost stories, and that's Mission Spooky Podcast, all one word, at gmail.com. Feel free to email us also with any questions or comments on any previous episodes. If you're a PA New Jersey or Delaware band and you own your own music, or if you just own your own music and you want to be featured on our podcast, just like Rob, please feel free to contact us through private message on Instagram, Twitter, or you can email us directly. Don't forget to rate and review us on iTunes and Podchaser. Just remember to be kind. And also check us out on Facebook and rate our Facebook page, which JC rules with.
An iron fist of compassion and mercy.
You always say compassion and mercy.
Yeah, because it's true.
When's the last time you uploaded anything to Facebook?
To my Facebook or to just Mission Spooky?
To
You
Mission
gotta be more. Oh,
Mission Spooky.
upload. I kind of let the uploading go to you. I admin. Okay, I monitor.
Oh my god.
Luckily, there's
You monitor it with an iron fist.
Yeah.
God.
I'm a busy man, okay?
Yeah. Okay, so anyway, taking us out once again is Rob Whisenhunt with his wonderful song Castles in Ashes from his 2019 album The Variable. And maybe we should let Cord do the outro.
Ooh, yeah, I'm good with that.
Stay spooky, guys, and don't die. But if you do, contact us.
I'm gonna do via Enigma coding machine.